So we moved into our house about 5 years ago, and I'm not sure how old this sink is, but it has seen some better days. It's starting to flake, and these things are sharp. So let's replace it. First, let's clean this. Now I got a few things working for me under here. This is a drain to the dishwasher that goes through here. And then the sink we have is split into two. The new sink is only going to have one drain, so we're going to have to mess with that later. And when your time comes to shut the water off, just remember, these things, depending on how old your house is, they can rust up, they get gummed up, and they're hard to turn. And a lot of times when you crack them open or crack them closed, they will start leaking. So always have a bucket ready just in case. All right, and as I bring you underneath, I'm going to do the best I can to give you a good angle here. So we're looking at this. There's a nut right here. We're going to unscrew that. That is for the nozzle, the spray nozzle. And then that brass one right there, that's for the faucet itself. And then over here, that is the soap dispenser. So there's three nuts that we're going to take off, and that will allow us to take the faucet and all the accessories out. And now it's time for just a tip. If you've crawled underneath the sink before, you know what I'm talking about. Get yourself some cushioning, anything, a blanket, an old pillow, and lay them down before you crawl in there. Those corners are sharp.
Where's your other hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
Now, as I'm turning this, everything is actually spinning with it, so the nut wasn't moving. So if you have an extra pair of hands, get someone to hold that top while you spin it out. All right, just a quick heads up if you have this same kind of setup. It obviously will probably depend on the brand, but this is the hose that goes out to the spray nozzle that is on the side, one of the accessories. But basically, you just take off this clip right here, and then you'll twist and turn this out. And some water will come out, but it's just what was left over in the hose. And then you should be able to grab it from the top and pull it out. Just like this. And with the soap dispenser and the water nozzle removed, we're going to take out the faucet, so let's head down below. Next, we got to get our hands on that brass nut. I got lucky here, mine was only finger tight. All right, and with that nut finally removed, we can disconnect the cold water and the hot water lines now, and then that faucet up top will come right out. Hey Jack, come hand me these pliers.
There you go.
Thanks. Oh, this is perfect. Next, I'll remove both drains from the sink. Now, if you're working with any kind of quartz or granite countertop, the only thing that's going to be holding down your sink in most cases is just some silicone. So I'm grabbing this razor with a long blade. That way I can get underneath all of the edges and kind of break that silicone free. And then once I have that done, I'm just grabbing a putty knife here and just slowly prying up, hopefully not to crack anything. But just take your time and go slow, and it'll slowly give way. And you just want to work your way all around the sides.
Have some shims ready to use as well. As you're prying up, stick the shims in. That way it just makes it easier for you to keep going along. It doesn't drop all the way down. It just makes it a little easier to keep going. Now I am using a hammer to tap in my little pry bar here and then adding in another shim. And then just work your way around. And just take your time, slow and steady wins the race, and eventually it'll pop right out. And get yourself a friend, especially if you have a cast iron one like this. These things are heavy. Or you can just be an idiot like me and risk hurting your back. Grab yourself a razor blade and spend the extra time to clean up all these edges from that old silicone. Now, if you haven't already, grab your sink and make sure it fits. Don't ask me how I know, but you're going to want to make sure it fits before you go ahead and finish installing it. Now, depending on your sink, sometimes they already have these pre-notched cutouts. Now, you won't see it from the top, but from the bottom, they already start cutting the way through, and they stop just before it gets to the surface in case you don't want to use it. And they'll have these little indicator stickers to let you know where the punch outs are. And so I'm using just a punch here and a hammer to get the hole started, and then follow your directions. Mine say to use a file and just work at it until you get the diameter you need to get your accessory in there. But I also have zero patience, so I grabbed the ball peen hammer. That's that hammer that has the rounded edges on it, and just went for it. And for my sink, I need 100% silicone to adhere it to the countertop. I will just note that there are some sinks out there that still use some hardware, especially if you're attaching it to like a vinyl top or like a wood top, and they will clamp from the bottom. But for mine, it's just 100% silicone. And so you will need a caulk gun. And once you've cut that tip, you're just going to use this to stick it in there and well, you have to break the seal for it, but yeah. And I know I mentioned it earlier, but I thought I got it all, but you really don't. So you're going to want to check again. Now we're going to use that silicone and just put a nice bead all the way around. And you want it to be a continuous bead. Don't leave any gaps. Now just checking to make sure it's even all the way around. Use a wet cloth for this. It makes it a lot easier for the cleanup. And make sure you allow the silicone to set up before you start installing other parts. You don't want it to slide around on you. And with your sink come instructions and your drain. But you don't need the instructions. That's what you got me for, right? Use the instructions. Hey, Livy, can you grab me the plumber's putty? It's like a little container with like a reddish top.
Sure, Dad.
Thank you very much.
No problem, Dad.
So take your plumber's putty, roll it out, make sure it's all the way around, nice continuous bead. Then we're going to add in the gaskets from underneath. So first is a rubber and then there's a paper gasket before you put the nut on. And you really just need to get this finger tight to begin with. Grab your favorite pair of pliers, preferably some needle nose, and that will help the top from spinning as you tighten it from the bottom. It's a little tricky. Again, if you have someone that can help you out, have them hold the top while you spin the bottom, and just get that as tight as you can. I don't have a set of pliers that'll reach around this. If I did, I would use those to get it a little bit tighter than hand tight. So I just use the punch and the hammer to get it a little bit tighter. Next, I'm going to start assembling the pipes for the drain. Now, if you're replacing an old drain, take a picture of it before you disassemble everything and go to the hardware store. That way you have a picture as reference. That's definitely handy. Time to install that new faucet. Get the water lines in first. This will kind of just hang in place until you can get down and tighten it. For my faucet, it comes with this plastic washer and then a metal washer. And then this is kind of like a clamp. It's a nut that you will screw on. And then we're going to clamp it down. I'll show you how that's installed now. So plastic washer, then the metal washer, then the nut. And we'll drive that all the way up hand tight. Here you can see there's 2 screws. So after we've got that hand tight, tightening these screws will put more pressure on that metal plate, that metal washer that we installed, and it'll secure everything down nice and tight. And we're getting to the home stretch now. Let's reattach these water lines. And once those are open, now is a good time to look for leaks. So far, so good. And cut up some old paper bags. They make a great leak detector. See? Yep, got a leak. Coming right up here from the drain. Think we just need to tighten it a little bit more. So I went ahead and tightened it. Now I'm going to test it again, let the water run, and we'll go in and check it out. That's what we want to see. And the last thing we need to do is add in the soap dispenser. It comes with one of these foam washers. So make sure you put that on first. Put that in the hole we made. Make sure it's centered up. And then we're going to go put this nut on the bottom. So let's go do that. All right, let's get this nut on. Have I mentioned everything is harder when you're holding a camera in your hand? Oh yeah. The struggle is real. Let's finish this up. We got to get the container for the soap next. We're going to slide that on here, and that gets threaded onto these threads here. And of course, I didn't bring it with me, so I have to climb out and then climb back in. So I'll see you in it'll be a second for you, but it'll be at least 3 minutes for me. Yep. Oh, ow. Ugh. All right. Let's get this on here. And there it is. If I could just get out of here. well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This video is part of the kitchen series that I'm currently working on. So I know there's going to be at least one more video, so be sure to like, subscribe if you like this video, and hit that bell for the notifications because you're going to want to know when that next video is coming out. So other than that, we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Do you need any more Play-Doh, Dad?
No, I don't want any more Play-Doh. Thanks a lot. Get over here.